What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rugged Adventures. Super happy to have you guys here. This is my Panzer Arms BP-12 semi-automatic bullpup shotgun. This thing is sweet, and I think a lot of folks out there bought it because when I dropped the first video of just my initial impressions on this, it's done extremely well. And, you know, this is a legal length shotgun, so you don't have to have an NFA stamp for this, even though it is a very short shotgun. The magic of the bullpup design means that you can have a really short shotgun. You can be nice and tactical if you want to look at that. If you want to see it from this angle, you know, it is much shorter than your typical 12 gauge shotgun that's going to be sticking way out, you know, past this. This is even shorter than an AR-15 or some of my SBRs. As a matter of fact, I have my 300 Blackout SBR here. This only has a 7.5 inch barrel. It has a suppressor on it, so it is that's about a 7-inch suppressor. And when you put this side by side with it, so you guys can see that on the cameras, kind of impromptu, it is about the same length as my SBR 300 Blackout with a suppressor for the full thing. Comes in 5-round box mags, which I've shown you guys before, and I think a couple different manufacturers are making this gun. I think Century is importing it, and there's a lot of firearms out here with 12 gauge that are box fed, either in bullpup or in, you know, your traditional setup in like a AK-47 type of scenario. But the one thing that folks typically say is they're having a lot of trouble getting this thing to cycle, even using very high energy loads. And today I'm going to show you guys how I am using just regular old Federal or any other type of target load. This is nothing special. This is your Walmart special. Very cheap, very inexpensive to shoot, because if you shoot this, you want to shoot it a lot, and you probably don't want to use big time, very expensive 3-inch rounds that are going to cost you a fortune to shoot this thing. And so today I'm going to tell you guys the things that I have done with the gun itself and with the way that I shoot it in order to make it reliably cycle with those lower powered loads, so you guys can go out there and have fun and not spend an absolute fortune. And for that whole intro, there was only one misfire, and it was the one where I was firing from the hip. I had to record that twice, and we're going to get into why that is. But all the time I hear folks online, they've commented several times on the Panzer BP-12 Gen 2 semi-auto bullpup shotgun video that I put out. And I'll put a link up here if you guys want to see that. And they say you have to use really heavy loads, really high energy. And then the second thing that they say is you have to swap out this buffer, this bushing that is in the gun. And if you look at this shotgun, when this comes down, this basically just blows the gas through here into another one of these that is sitting right here. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that, but that pushes this entire assembly back, cycles the weapon, and it is able to make it fire the next one. And when you're looking at this, you got to realize what you all have purchased here. This isn't a Benellium 4. This isn't a, you know, super high-end shotgun. This is a $450, $500 shotgun. So, you know, it's going to have some flaws and some things like that. And when that's coming back, that is taking a lot of energy to cycle all of this mechanism to rip a new round off the mag, get it in there, and get it ready to fire. And what a lot of folks tell you is that you need to swap this one, which is the low velocity bushing, out for this high velocity one. Even when people say you should be shooting, you know, these lower powered loads, you need to swap this out. In the manual, I believe it says 1,350 feet per second is the cutoff for that. Or you'll have accelerated wear and possible damage. Well, you know what? This is a $450 shotgun that I purchased, and I really don't care if it does get damaged or breaks. I'll just, you know, throw it away and get another one. That's just the way that I kind of think about it. And so I leave this longer one in because it has more surface area, so it's going to create a better seal, and you're going to get more gas from any of the rounds that you're using to be able to cycle this extremely heavy mechanism. The other little tip that I found online was to store this shotgun with the bolt locked back. So when you have it, hit your bolt lock and let this sit, and that compresses the spring. I'm not sure if that really has anything to do with it or not, but I have left mine with the bolt locked open, and it seems to run quite a bit better. but that could also go into just shooting it a lot. This one has had something like 500-600 rounds through it, a lot of times in rapid succession, and as I've gotten more and more rounds through it, it jams a heck of a lot less as long as you're using a very good shooting stance. Another thing that I see a lot of people do, they don't clean their guns, especially when they first get them. When I first got this one, it was a very gritty sounding. It was like, now it is, you know, very clean, very, there's nothing going on with it. When I first got this thing, I cleaned it out completely. There was a lot of machine residue and such in there. And so just getting that out of there is going to help reduce the friction, and you're gonna need every little bit out of every shell. Lubricate the weapon. There are so many folks I see with this gun, with ARs, with anything, that come out and they're running their guns extremely dry. And there's a lot of reasons for that. They might say it's going to get dirty or whatever. Most of us are not in combat situations, and I wouldn't recommend carrying this if I was in a combat situation. But you guys were on a range, and so if your weapon does get dirty, it's not a big deal. You can clean it off. Lubricating this thing, it is very wet. You can probably see, I would assume if it'll focus on that, how kind of lubed that thing up is in there. I don't know if it is going to be able to show you. But the biggest thing that you can do when you're shooting this shotgun or any other semi-automatic shotgun, especially these lower cost ones that just aren't going to have the reliability of the bigger name brands that are going to cost you $900, $1,000, $2,000, etc., is a good shooting stance and just good body mechanics. When you have this thing in your shoulder and you're ready to shoot, it needs to be in your shoulder. I mean, pushed into your shoulder. Your hand up here needs to be pulling this into your shoulder so that when you shoot, and your shoulder needs to be, it needs to be tight. This needs to be a brick wall so that when you shoot, the gun does not come back like this. You're not getting this every time. You want to see this thing basically not move or move as very little as possible. And that it also involves getting yourself a nice wide shooting stance, which I don't think I can do in this frame. When you're going to shoot this thing wide, you want to have a lot of bracing back here so that when you shoot it, when it fires, it's not able to drive you back too terribly much. So let's get some magazines loaded up in this thing, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we got our leg brace back. We're not going to let us push this back, the shotgun here, and we have a nice shooting stance. It's going to give us a big base of platform to shoot from. Shoulder locked in. This pulling back to the gun in the shoulder. This pulling back on the shoulder as well, keeping the muzzle from rising, keeping all of that energy in the gun. Flip it off a safe, find your target, let it rip. Keeping all that energy in the gun enables the thing to cycle. If your shoulder was coming back like this, wouldn't be able to cycle. Let's try it again. Again, just keeping that energy in the gun. And remember, we are using just, low power target loads, that you can get from Walmart for practically nothing. Now let's actually have some fun with it. If you guys like this, be sure to subscribe down below. Be sure to hit that like button for me. Leave me a comment what you think, if you think I'm full of crap. All day long, we have only used that federal ammo that I showed you guys in the beginning. There's nothing that was any higher power or anything different. All the same for the entire video. I appreciate you guys watching today, and I will see you on the next one.